Hello, my astrology friends. I'm Janet Alvarez of Realist Astrology, here to talk to you about the biggest events coming up in the month of April. Now, I'm going to differ a little bit from fellow astrologers in being realistic about the month of April, which I don't foresee as being a positive month for many. I know that we've talked a lot about the eclipse and Jupiter conjunct Uranus, and a lot of astrologers believe that in particular Jupiter conjunct Uranus, occurring precisely around April 20th or April 21st, will bring surprises, positive good news, positive blessings for many. And while that's a possibility, it's also possible for it to bring negative surprises. And let me tell you why. First things first, one of the most important events in years is occurring on April 9th, and the path of completeness, the path of exactitude, will cross North America during the great total solar eclipse of April 9th, which means that the events surrounding this eclipse will directly affect many of us that live here in North America. This is a total solar eclipse. That means the light of the sun will be completely blocked. It'll be in Aries at about 19 degrees. So those of you with cardinal sign placements, especially Aries and Libras, at 19 degrees or 3 to 5 degrees in either direction, about 14 to about 24 degrees Aries or Libra, will feel it most strongly. Now, what concerns me about this eclipse is that it's also precisely conjunct Chiron. An eclipse precisely conjunct Chiron, a total solar eclipse precisely conjunct Chiron, some astrologers would say it's an opportunity for healing. And perhaps in some cases it is. Don't let me be overly negative about this. Some of you will experience cathartic release because this is an opportunity to sort of transform your life in whatever house it falls in your chart. And perhaps some of you will experience that sense of release, of healing, of coming to understanding, coming to terms with things. But for others, Chiron is also simply the wounded warrior. It's a place of woundedness in our chart. It's a place of vulnerability, a little bit of sorrow. So an eclipse directly with Chiron isn't necessarily a favorable event in itself. Now, the other crucial thing is that Mars will be exactly conjunct Saturn at about 14 degrees of Pisces at that time. Mars-Saturn conjunction can bring frustration, limitation, obstacles in whatever area of your chart it touches. So really, if you want to give this eclipse the most favorable take, you could say that it's some sort of blockage, some sort of pain, some sort of wound that will bring us a surprise that will eventually lead us to better things, a release. Another interpretation of this is that this eclipse will bring some unexpected, unforeseen events related to some blockages, some frustrations we've been feeling in our lives. And those unforeseen events, depending on aspects in your chart, can be positive or negative. There is the potential for a lot of feeling of resignation, a lot of feeling of woundedness, a lot of feeling of vulnerability, a lot of feeling of frustration around this eclipse. No matter your sign, but especially if you're a Libra or Aries, and secondarily if you're another cardinal sign, a Cancer or Capricorn, and especially if you have planets right around those signs. I would say that if you're somebody who is a Libra sun, moon, or rising, or an Aries sun, moon, or rising, especially within 5 degrees of that 19 degree placement, which is Aries born between about April 4th and April 14th, and Libra's born between October 4th and October 20th, let's say. Be careful with your physical body at this time as well, right? Be careful with your health. This is a time to take care of yourself, to not take risks, to not put yourself in the path of any accidents, to not wander into bad neighborhoods, to not take any risky substances. That's what this time is. The other big event that's occurring this month is, of course, as I mentioned, the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. And that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, a lot of astrologers have sort of been breathlessly awaiting. And I agree, for some of you, it's going to bring marvelous surprises, marvelous transformations, Jupiterian opportunity coming out of the blue, because Jupiter is a planet of expansion, opportunity, and good luck. So good luck hitting you like a flash of light out of the blue. And, depending upon your sign, depending upon the placements in your particular chart, it can be magnificent. But if you're seeing stresses related to that eclipse, if that eclipse is difficult for you, especially if you're an Aries or Libra, the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction could bring unexpected surprises that aren't entirely welcome. And I think that the first eclipse that we saw on March 25th just a little while ago is already giving you clues. You're already starting to get clues, indications about what will happen with that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. On the whole, I think April is a very volatile month. It's a month of big, explosive changes, not just for individuals, but on a global scale as well. We saw that bridge collapse in Baltimore. We've seen a lot of negative health news out of the British royal family. And we can expect to see more of that kind of energy developing over the course of April, except in April, it has the capacity to be just more explosive and dramatic. So we might see an intensification in conflicts around the world. We might see more leaders around the world announce dramatic changes or find dramatic changes in their lives for better or for worse. So with all that said, let's go sign by sign. Aries and Aries risings. My. You are in the spotlight this month, and rightfully so, Aries. That big eclipse on April 9th is happening directly in your sign, and it signifies a time of transformation, a time of moving towards something new, because it is a North Node eclipse. The North Node signifies our positive karma, where we're headed in this life, what we have to learn, what we have to accomplish. So Aries, this is a portal opening up for you, a door opening up for you. However, as I mentioned earlier, because it is conjunct Chiron, and because Mars is conjunct Saturn at that time of the eclipse, this can be something difficult or something challenging that leads you down this new path. And because it's in your first house, it's something challenging or something difficult having to do with your image, your body, your public persona. This may be a time when you decide to change your name, cut your hair, get a new wardrobe, lose weight, gain weight, get plastic surgery, transform your body in some way. It can also be a time in which you sort of change your image. It can be, taking a new name, for example, if you've gotten married, if you've gotten divorced, changing your name back. It can be a change in career. It can be something that affects your public image, your physical body, personal reputation, who you are physically, and what you manifest physically to the world. So expect that sort of change to come, but expect it to be catalyzed by some sense of frustration. Now, the Mars-Saturn conjunction that is happening at the time of this eclipse is happening in your 12th house. Mars conjunct Saturn in the 12th house, to me, sounds a little bit like sadness, depression, loneliness. The 12th house is what's hidden. It's what we do when the doors are locked. It's the recesses of our mind. It's our spiritual self. It's what happens in our bed. The 12th house is the secrets we keep. So with Mars conjunct Saturn in the 12th, Aries, it may be a situation where you have to be guarded about your mental health. You have to be guarded about your emotional well-being. And also you have to guard secrets. Any secrets that may come out around this time are not likely to favor you. Now, the other big event occurring this month is, of course, the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. And that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is occurring in your second house, which is one of the most favorable placements for it, because Jupiter, of course, rules abundance, rules money, rules the opportunity for growth. In the second house, a Jupiter-Uranus conjunction can bring you money opportunities. You can see new sources of income land in your lap. You can find that there are favorable outcomes in settlements. You can just find yourself in a position where you have more money, but it's also objects, things of value, and your values themselves, right? So you might find something surprising that is very positive that. Now, one of the silver linings of Mars-Saturn conjunction in Pisces is that it forms a sextile to this, or it's a very loose sextile at this point, to the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in Taurus. Nonetheless, it's loosely supportive. So that means that whatever's going on with you internally, mentally, psychologically, is what will give support to these surprising events regarding finances that will occur. It's all very interesting, very fascinating, Aries. Now, the one thing to keep in mind is that for Aries rising people, Uranus rules your 8th house, which is also your house of debt, loans, forgiveness of debt, settlements, child support, alimony, intimate relations, personal transformation, etc. So this could be a time where Jupiter amplifies that 8th house Uranian energy in your second house. So it speaks to me even more about money. It speaks to me about surprises regarding money. Because it's Jupiter, it will probably be a positive surprise. But for a small number of Aries people, this can be sudden problems regarding money. This could be suddenly you get a tax bill from the IRS that you don't like. Suddenly you have debt collectors come knocking. For a small percentage of Aries people, that's a possibility. So keep that in mind. All right, Taurus. Taurus. So this month is kind of also all about you, because that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction that we've been talking about is happening in your sign, Taurus, and Taurus rising. So especially if you're a Taurus rising, you can feel that Jupiterian expansion and that Uranian energy already. You feel those big changes coming. You feel that mounting. And for Taurus people in the first house, that is, again, your physical body. That is who you are. That is who you show the world. That is the role you play in society. That is, I'm going to dye my hair blonde all of a sudden. Or that is, I'm going to start going to the gym and grow my muscles. Or that may even be, I may change my place of residence. I may change my name. I change the way people perceive me in general. So be on the lookout for that. For Taurus people, of course, Uranus rules the 7th house. So this can be sudden changes or sudden surprises regarding relationships. Okay, so this can be positive developments regarding relationships, regarding contracts, regarding settlements and negotiations, legal matters. All of these things may work out very positively for you right now, Taurus. Now, the eclipse, the 19-degree area eclipse, is happening in your 12th house. So again, conjunct Chiron. For Taurus, the story is kind of similar to Aries, but it's kind of inverted. For Taurus people, the eclipse may be talking to you a little bit about the vulnerability, pain, woundedness that you have, that's psychological, that's hidden, the secrets that you keep that can be hurtful or a little taboo that you don't want to share with people. And it's an opportunity to sort of release that pain and move on from it. But this can also bring some surprises, right? Especially with the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, with Uranus signifying your 7th house. You may see some secrets come out regarding partnerships. If a partner hasn't been completely honest with you, you may see some surprises or secrets come out regarding lawsuits, contracts, partnerships. So make sure that you have all of the information and that you're not being subjected to those secrets. All right, moving on now. Good luck, Taurus. Gemini. Gemini, for you, this eclipse is pretty good. The one caveat being that Mercury, your ruling planet, is retrograde in Aries during the time of the eclipse. And of course, when your ruling planet is retrograde, the general events and circumstances around you are not as positive, right? Because you're not in your forward motion. You're not able to act as forcefully as you would like. That's especially true of people who are Gemini rising and also Virgos who are also Mercury ruled. But the other thing to keep in mind is that Gemini is sextile to the planet, to the sign of Aries. And it's in trine to Libra, which is the opposite sign in the eclipse. So this is a somewhat supportive eclipse for you. And I'm not saying, again, that this is going to be the best eclipse ever, but it's a supportive eclipse, generally speaking, for Gemini people. And even though your ruling planet Mercury will be retrograde for part of the time of the month, generally speaking, this eclipse can act as a catalyst for you to move forward. And this eclipse is occurring in your 11th house. So that has to do with things like friends, community groups that you're a part of, your ideals, your aspirations. It also has to do with social media, social communication. And again, as we mentioned earlier, the Mars-Saturn conjunction that's occurring is in your 10th house. So it is in an approximate sextile with the Jupiter-Taurus conjunction in your 12th house. All right. Good luck, Gemini.